Now that we know what an imaginary number is and what a complex number is, in this video we're going to look at how do we add, subtract and multiply complex numbers so that we feel confident working with them in all the future problem solving stuff we're going to look at. So let's say I have two complex numbers, z and w. Z is 2 plus 3i, so the real part is 2 and the imaginary part is 3i, and w, the real part is 4 and the imaginary part is negative I. How do we add these two complex numbers together? Well, they add in a very intuitive way. You simply add the real parts. 2 plus 4 is 6. And you add the imaginary parts as well. So 3i plus negative I is positive 2i. And so that's z plus w. Subtraction works in exactly the same way. We just do the real part of z minus the real part of w. So that's negative 2, and then we do the same thing here. 3i minus negative I is 4i, positive 4i. So addition and subtraction, very easy and straightforward with complex numbers. You just add the real parts, you then add the imaginary parts, and you're good. So let's have a go at these. If you feel confident, definitely pause the video and try to work out these two yourself. So z here was a half minus 3 over 2i, w is 4 plus 3i. So we want 2z plus half w. So let's just work that out then. So 2z, that's 2 times this. So that's 2z plus a half of w. So I'm just going to expand this whole thing out now and then gather up my terms. So 2 times a half is 1. 2 times negative 3 over 2, that's minus 3i. And then I've got half of 4, so plus 2, and half of 3i, so that's 3 over 2i. And now I just need to gather up my terms. So my real terms are 1 and 2, that's 3. And my imaginary terms is negative 3i plus 3 over 2i. Well, negative 3 plus 3 over 2 is negative 3 over 2, so negative 3 over 2i. And so there's my answer to 2z plus half w. Okay, let's look at this one, 4z minus 5w. So 4z is 4 times half minus 3 over 2i. And minus 5w, that's minus 5 times 4 plus 3i. Expand all of this. 4 times a half is 2. 4 lots of negative 3 over 2 is negative 6i. Negative 5 times 4 is minus 20, and negative 5 times 3i is minus 15i. Gather up my terms, and I've got 2 minus 20, that's my real part, so that's minus 18. And my imaginary part, negative 6i minus 15i, I get minus 21i. So that's how addition and subtraction work. Quite an intuitive way of doing that. How about multiplication? Well, we've got a few things we need to be able to do. We need to expand brackets, and that happens in exactly the way you would expect. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times negative 4i is negative 12i. In fact, we've already seen that in action on the last page. We can expand brackets when we've got I on the outside. So 2i times 1 is just 2i. And now what about this? Well, 2 times 3 is 6, and I times I is I squared. What is I squared? Well, by definition, I squared is negative 1. So that's just negative 1. So I've got 2i plus 6 lots of negative 1. So that's minus 6. So you could either leave your answer like that, or you could write minus 6 plus 2i to have it in the real plus imaginary form. Let's do this one. 3i times negative 4, that's just minus 12i. And then 3i times negative I. Well, let's try to do this all in one go. 3 is the only number, or real number I see. I times I is minus 1 by definition, and it's minus that. So it's minus 1, so positive 1. So it's just plus 3, because I times I is minus 1, I times minus I is 1, 1 times 3 is 3. So there it is, and of course we could write it as 3 minus 12i if we wanted it in real plus imaginary form. Okay, expanding brackets like this, it works just like expanding any quadratic term. We multiply the first two terms. 2 times 1 is 2. You can do this any order you like. 2 times 4i is 8i. Then we do 3i times 1, that's 3i. And 3i times 4i, well, 3 times 4 is 12. I times I is negative 1, so that becomes minus 12. So our real part is 2 minus 12, which is minus 10. And our imaginary part is 8i plus 3i, which is 11i. How about this one? 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times I is 3i. Negative I times 2 is negative 2i. And negative I times I, well, the I times I is minus 1. And there's also another negative, so that becomes positive 1. Group it all up, and I've got 6 plus 1 is 7. And 3i minus I is plus I. Finally, we've got a difference of two squares style problem. So 4 times 4 is 16. And then we've got 4 times minus I is minus 4i. I times 4 is 4i, so these are going to cancel just like any difference of two squares. And then I've got I times negative I. So I times I is minus 1. Negative of that is positive 1. And so the imaginary bits cancel out and I'm left just with 17. So that's kind of cool because I found two complex numbers which multiply to 17. So that's nice, and that's actually a trick we're going to use later on. So try to remember that it is possible to multiply two complex numbers to get a real number. Okay, let's have a look at dealing with brackets like this. Well, we would expand this in the same way that we would expand any algebraic term. You could write it out separately like this if you want, and then expand. So we get 1 times 1 is 1. I get 1 times 2i plus another 1 times 2i. So that's 4i. And I also get 2i times 2i. 2 times 2 is 4. I times I is minus 1, so that's minus 4. And so what do I end up with? Well, 1 minus 4 is negative 3. And we also have 4i. So this is also interesting because I found that the square of this number is this number, and so that's also one of the square roots of this. If I was to square root both sides, I would learn that 1 plus 2i is one of the roots of minus 3 plus 4i. Okay, cubic bracket. Well, I can either just expand this in sort of the long way, or I could even use binomial expansion for this. So I'm going to use binomial expansion for this. So we've got 3 choose 0 times 1 cubed times minus I to the 0. That's my first term. And I just rattle through all of the terms here. 3 choose 1 times 1 squared times negative I to the 1. 2 more terms to go. 3 choose 2, 1 to the power of 1, negative I squared. Of course, you could skip a lot of this out because the 1s are not really relevant to this. And 3 choose 3 times 1 to the 0 and minus I cubed. So this first one, we've got 1 times 1 times 1, so that's 1. The next one, I get 3 times 1 times negative I, so that's minus 3i. Now I get 3 times 1 times, well, what's negative I squared? Well, the negatives cancel, and I times I is minus 1. So this is 3 times 1 times minus 1. So that's minus 3. And finally for this one, let's take our time for this. So 3 choose 3 is 1, 1 to the 0 is 1. But what's negative I cubed? Well, we can think about it like this. Minus I times minus I times minus I. What's this first 2 multiplied? Well, the negatives cancel, and I times I is minus 1, so that's minus 1 times minus I. The negatives cancel, 1 times I is I, so the answer to that is I. So minus I cubed is I. So that's what we've got that last term, so we have just plus I. And so what's our answer here? It's the real part, 1 minus 3 is minus 2, and then negative 3i plus I is minus 2i. Alright, this last one, 2i to the 5. Well, using indice laws, we can split this up as 2 to the 5 times I to the 5. So 2 to the 5, that's easy, that's just 32. What's I to the 5? Well, there's a few ways to think about this, but obviously we could take a shortcut, but I times I times I times I times I. Let's think through this. These first two i's, I times I is minus 1, so that's these two. The next two are also minus 1, and the last one is just I. So minus 1 times minus 1 is 1, this is 1 times I, and the answer is I. So I to the 5 is I, so we just get 32i. Now you notice a little bit of a pattern here, which is if you take I to the 1, it's obviously just I squared by definition is minus 1. I cubed is just your previous 1 times I. So multiply that by I and you get minus I. I to the 4 is your previous 1 times I again. I times I is minus 1, that cancels with the negative and we get 1. And this now just repeats because I to the 5 is your previous answer times I, which is I. And this pattern of I minus 1 minus I 1 is going to repeat forever. Okay, one more multiplication. What is I to the 100? Well, using that logic, we can say, well, I've just seen that I to the 4 is 1. So why not split this up into I to the 4 to the power of 25. Indice laws tell us that I to the 4 to the 25 is indeed I to the 100. Well, I to the 4 is 1, and 1 to the power of 25 is certainly 1. How about this? Well, let's think about groups of 4. 32 is a multiple of 4 close by, so I could split that into I to the 32 times I to the 1, or just I. Well, I to the 32 is just 1, because that's I to the 4 to the power of 8. So we just get 1 to the 8, which is 1, times I, and the answer is I. Okay, one more little example. F of z, so we've got a function here, is z squared minus 2z plus 17. So it's just a quadratic, and I need to show that z equals 1 minus 4i is a solution to f of z equals 0. So I'm going to sub in 1 minus 4i into this and see if I get 0. So 1 minus 4i squared minus 2 times 1 minus 4i plus 17. And I'm exploring what this is. So this first term, when I expand that, I get 1 times 1 is 1. I get 1 times negative 4i and another 1 times negative 4i, so that's minus 8i. And then I get negative 4i squared. Well, the negatives cancel. 4 times 4 is 16, I times I is minus 1, so that's minus 16. Expanding this out, I get minus 2 times 1 is minus 2. Minus 2 times minus 4i is positive 8i. And finally, plus 17 at the end. So the real part here is 1 minus 16, so we're at minus 15. Minus 2 to get us to minus 17, plus 17 is 0. And the imaginary part is negative 8i plus 8i, which is 0 as well. So, yes, z equals 1 minus 4i is indeed a solution. When we sub it in, we get 0.